it is actually true, and I can't believe I have to say this about Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet here. It is actually true that this segment was sponsored by Pfizer. I don't know if you guys watch the Grammys. I don't watch the Grammys. I tend to not watch award shows, unless, of course, I was ever invited to one. Then, of course, I would go because I like a free meal. And I like getting golden trophies and bumping up my own ego. But the reason I usually don't watch the Golden Globes or the Oscars or the Grammys is like, I just don't know if I really want to sit down and watch for 2.5 hours a bunch of rich people giving each other statues. Which, I mean, if I want to be a little reductionist, is what the Grammys, the Oscars, and all of these events really like are. I mean, it's cool because they have performances and they get emotional or whatever. But yeah, and I'm saying 2.5 hours. I'm kind of reeling it in a bit. It's more than 2.5 hours. You're right, Twitch chat. I don't like it. I don't like to watch people just like continuously, I don't want to say like just like circle jerking, but it kind of is that. It's never been my vibe. And I'm not hating on anybody who does watch the Grammys. Just that's just not what I want to spend my time doing. Definitely, since I'm not that into the music that is very popular on these types of programs, that I would actually want to sit down and watch them, all these people that I don't listen to anyway, get awards. Like, they're not like doing these award shows to be like, hey guys, we're gonna talk about like Russian synth pop music that Dylan listens to. Like, no, they're not, because I have really weird niche music tastes anyway. Anyway, talking about the Grammys recently, the Grammys have had a performance where a guy went out there and he dressed up like the devil and had a bunch of devil's minions and did a performance. And this has caused immense backlash. I was not privy to the backlash immediately because, again, I didn't watch the Grammys, but this caused immense backlash in conservative spaces of people saying that America's collapsing. This is what the fall of Rome looks like. America is gonna collapse because of a moral degeneracy. That this is Satanism through and through, and they're being public about it as they indoctrinate our youth, yada yada. Anyway, let me start off the segment by just merely playing you a 30-second time clip of the performance. You know what I call that? Goofy as hell. Huh? I'm very sorry. But not my cup of tea. Whatever. I don't care. Right? I don't care. I saw this like on my feed for a second and just kept scrolling. And the reason I only paid attention to this segment is because how much of a ruckus conservatives made about it. And so I want to look at some of the ruckus conservatives made about this, because my take on this is that these are music artists trying to be edgy and provocative and naughty, and so they dressed up like the devil, they did a little song and dance, and that's how I view this. Just music artists being provocative, naughty, and edgy to either get attention or because they like being bad or whatever it is. For whatever reason they dressed up as the devil. Like, I don't really care. Same reason Lil Nas X dressed up the devil could be it too. It could just be, hey, I think this is a cool outfit, or ooh, isn't that badass? Just like that element to it. And let's not pretend that this is a new thing, musicians dressing up as the devil. I mean, you know how many rock albums included pentagrams on their covers, and how vulgar or violent a lot of these rock albums were in reference to Satan and the devil and the demons and the like. It was a massive thing, definitely in the 80s, which also coincided with the Satanic Panic, which we're starting to see in response to this. So let's go through a few of these. Here's from Sean Hannity. Satanic Smith watch pop singer go full Satan during Grammy performance. Okay, that's not too bad. But let's keep going down the rabbit hole. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Grammys featured Sam Smith's demonic performance and was sponsored by Pfizer. This is the best part. And the Satanic Church now has an abortion clinic in New Mexico that requires its patients to perform a satanic ritual before services. American Christians need to get to work. Okay, so first off, it is actually true, and I can't believe I have to say this about Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet here. It is actually true that this segment was sponsored by Pfizer, which if I was a Pfizer exec, I would have done this, and I would see, there it is right there. I would have done this, and I would have been laughing my ass off about it the entirety of the time, knowing how much it would get under the skin of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. But you want to know what I more realistically think? I think there's a decent chance that Pfizer was just like, look, we're a big company, we're Pfizer, we want to put our logo on the big mainstream event, the Grammys, so just put it somewhere. And this is where it ended up. Now you can like say it's a conspiracy or whatever. Maybe they had it pre-checked and was like, okay, we're fine, we don't care. And they put it there because, you know, why would they care? I don't know why they would. I guess it's because they're going to lose. Pfizer's going to lose people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but Pfizer doesn't have those people to begin with. Those people are never going to be like, woohoo, we love Pfizer anyway. So why would they care? But most likely, I doubt they even knew this was going to be the segment. But I have seen conspiracies outside of just Marjorie Taylor Greene's post saying that this is Pfizer, who already injected the mark of the beast into the people through the vaccine, the 666 vaccine, or as we like to call it, the fake scene. And now they are operating against the moral fortitude of the American people by promoting Satanism. This is all nonsense. I don't really even feel like I want to dignify it any further, besides the fact that it's also very, 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 very funny. Now, this kept going as well. Like, for example, here's End Wokeness saying normal people, extremists, according to the media. But eventually, this culminated in an enraged right-wing broadcaster by the name of Pete Santil encouraging his listeners to literally attack Pfizer production facilities, the production facilities where they make the vaccines and the medication. Destroy Pfizer now, do it now, go over the wall, get into their buildings, unplug all their equipment. Let's play the footage.
Filthy Pfizer Satanists, okay?
Dude, the filthy Pfizer Satanists sounds like a great name for a soccer team.
Filthy Pfizer Satanists, okay? Triple
Love
boosting
it.
people, bunch of satanic, chimeric parasite injecting, snake venom peptide.
I wasn't exaggerating when I said mark of the beast and everything. That's what he believes.
Injecting snake venom peptide eugenicist, disgusting people. It's time. You know what we need to do? Pfizer is just a manufacturing plant for Satan, okay? We need to shut that freaking place down. Shut it down. Destroy Pfizer now. Do it now. Do it now.
Now.
Go over the wall, get into their freaking buildings, unplug all their freaking equipment. Let's go. It's time to storm the Bastille, is it not? Huh? Oh, that's illegal. Really? They're killing people and bragging about it and sponsoring this freaking crap right here. They should be shut down for sponsoring this level of Satanism that should never occur here on Earth. Pfizer corporatism must be destroyed. Must be destroyed.
What do you think this guy thought about all the white nationalists and stuff getting unbanned on Twitter.com by Elon Musk under the new kind of like free speech, the quote unquote free speech regime, right? I have a weird feeling that if I was to ask this guy what he thinks about freedom, he'd be like, yeah, I'm very pro-freedom. What do you mean? I love freedom of speech. But the thing is, with most people like theocrats and authoritarians, which this guy is, he's a theocrat authoritarian, is that if anybody expresses a belief that is not in line with you, you're going to go crazy. You're going to lash out on it. And the only reason that people like this and other radicals like Jackson Hinkle at all will, and I call him a radical is a little much because I don't think he really holds any radical beliefs. I think he just kind of like repeats what other people tell him. But I I think the only reason that people on the edges of society like Jackson Hinkle, like Pete, who are authoritarians, talk about freedom so much is because they don't want their Twitter accounts banned. They don't want their YouTube accounts banned. They don't want their publications taken down. They don't want their speech suppressed, because freedom of speech is extremely useful for them because they live on the margins of society. That's why it's useful for them. That's why they love it so much. But if the tables were turned 100%, they'd 180 on it. I've seen Jackson Hinkle actively advocate for other people to have their accounts taken down, or actually I've seen him celebrate people's accounts being taken down and being banned. I saw Jackson Hinkle celebrating the banning of what was it, like Satanist literature in Russia, or there would be no allowing of this Grammy performance in the Great Russia. Like he's praising the fact that governments will suppress media because they're dangerous thoughts. And this comes from the free speech crowd that Pete is supposedly a part of. And that's because the only reason these guys love free speech is because it helps them, not because it is like an institution they hold like high up, or because they really care about the principles behind freedom of speech, only because it helps them. Because they're cynical actors. They're cynical. They're playing like a cynical power play politics game. That's all it is. Now, putting that aside, this guy's like advocating for like a jihad, like a crusade against Pfizer, people breaking into their facilities, destroying their medical equipment. Pfizer doesn't just make the COVID vaccine. They also make a lot of other, I think, medications. Are we gonna like disrupt like the supply lines for medication in the United States, so to punish them for sponsoring a dance at the Grammys? We're gonna have to go out and tell people, I'm sorry, your medication's not in today, or you can't get your vaccine, grandma. We were going to give it to you, but then we decided that when Pfizer ended up sponsoring the Grammys, that your health was less important than my personal fees over my religious beliefs. Like, I mean, you could call this like, I mean, terrorism, I mean, is a heavy and strong word. I don't know if maybe industrial sabotage is a better one, but under certain definitions of terrorism, this does kind of apply. Going out, destroying the production facilities, unplugging the equipment, destroying what they have in order to make medicine because they disagree with your religious beliefs. And by disagree with your religious beliefs, again, all that means is sponsored a Grammys performance, to be clear. But this is the lunacy of the religious right in this country. And I know that after having Obama in office and having Trump in office, who was somebody who was very raunchy, even if he was backed up by evangelicals, he was somebody saying, grab him by the pussy. He was very raunchy, generally somebody who in private would mock Mike Pence for his homophobic beliefs. And now we have the Biden administration. We like to think that like the religious right, maybe like their influence has declined, their power has declined. And I think generally in the country, that's true. But within the Republican Party, that's not true. It's still one of their most powerful bases. And so whether we like it or not, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and many elected Republicans have to go out of their way to please people like Pete here in order to get elected. And that, to me, is a terrifying thought, that what this guy said is actually coming into consideration for elected leaders, people who actually have an impact on our politics. And the satanic panic of the 80s, in hindsight, is obviously ridiculous. I mean, when people say satanic panic, people get in their minds like kind of like grandmas and moms who don't understand D&D kind of freaking out and panicking because it's bringing their kids into magic and wizardry. Oh, the Harry Potter novels are corrupting the youth, until J.K. Rowling said like some transphobic things. Now Harry Potter is totally cool. It's not corrupting the youth. It's not satanic. It's not against my religious beliefs. It's actually perfectly fine, and I'll take 20. The satanic panic never ended. it kind of went into kind of a lull for a while, but I've been seeing more and more and more of the satanic panic dialogue online recently. The most other recent example I can think of is after the Lil Nas X music video he released, where he twerked on the devil. That caused a lot of outrage, not only because of the fact that there was a devil there, but also because Lil Nas X was gay, and the music video had a lot of homosexual themes. And so people were saying, oh my God, they're trying to give this to the children. That video was not meant for children. It was an adult-oriented video. It was oriented towards adults. It was very oriented towards adults, very clearly oriented towards adults. Either way, the satanic panic isn't over. We still have people pulling out the same nonsense that we saw like 40 years ago, you know? As much as the world changes, many things stay the same. And as funny as this is, after seeing the David DePepe assassination attempt on Nancy Pelosi after he bashed in her husband's skull with a hammer, I'm a little scared of some crazed loon listening to Pete's segment and going out there and actually giving this a try.